All right, this is from Adam. And Adam says, do you want to talk about why this article's wrong? That's what Adam says. So apparently we're looking at a wrong article. But let's go to it, see what they're saying. Why Democrats should not call the Georgia governor's race stolen. Because voter suppression's not really a thing. Come on. There are 3 important reasons to cool this rhetoric, despite Brian Kemp's odious voter suppression. So the person acknowledged there was a bunch of voter suppression, but they're like, calm down with the rhetoric. People need civility. We need bipartisan. Okay, I wonder if that's what this is going to be. I guess I should read the article before I jump to conclusions. But look, based on this, there are 3 reasons to cool this rhetoric, despite Brian Kemp's odious voter suppression efforts. I know voter suppression's bad, but guys, we need to talk nice. Good job, Richard. All right, many Democrats are understandably angry about efforts to suppress the vote in Georgia and elsewhere in the 2018 midterm. They're understandably angry. This article sucks, by the way. In the Peach State, there is no question that Governor-elect Brian Kemp, while Secretary of State, made it harder for minority and other voters to register and vote through a combination of deliberate efforts and all right. So, basically, yeah, there was a ton of voter suppression. There were a ton of voter suppression. But for 3 reasons, Democrats should stop with the rhetoric that the race was stolen, as Sherrod Brown, an Ohio Democrat, has said. And they should follow the lead of Kemp's Democratic opponent, Stacey Abrams, who has repeatedly refused to acknowledge Kemp as the legitimate winner. And they should not follow the lead of Kemp's Democratic opponent, Stacey Abrams, who stood up for democracy. That's not what the article says. That's my addition. Who repeatedly refused to... Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, she was questioned by CNN's Jake Tapper. Good journalist. Pfft. First, rhetoric about stolen elections feeds a growing cycle of mistrust and delegitimization of the election process. That's because it's deserved! An attack pushed by President Trump. Oh! So because Trump feels that way... That means if you feel that way, you're going along with... Really? It's not because our elections are completely morally bankrupt. It's not because our elections are not genuine. It's not because our elections have gerrymandering and voter suppression and the Electoral College and superdelegates and voter purges. It's not because that goes on all the time. Rhetoric about stolen elections feeds a growing cycle of mistrust. Yeah, because there should be mistrust. Guys, this really grows the feeding mistrust of liars and cheaters. And we really need to create a climate where we just blindly trust these liars and cheaters. How is this guy Richard? This is pathetic, Richard. Wow, Adam was right. This article is terrible. Second, the rhetoric about a stolen election is unproven. Although Hillary Clinton declared that if Abrams had a fair election, she would have won. We don't know. Oh, so if Hillary Clinton said it. Wow, this guy is terrible. You know, we'll never know that if cheaters wouldn't have won or not because they cheated and that's just the way it is. We'll never know if a valid process would have given us different results because they cheated and that's just the way it is. We don't know if they could have won without voter suppression, but they had voter suppression and they won, so we can't really argue. Richard's the kind of guy that if he was in a prison cell and prisoners revolted and they broke down the door and they were like, let's run to freedom, Richard would stay behind. Richard would stay behind him. He'd be like, yeah, you know, the food's not that bad. We're going to make the masters angry. We probably shouldn't break out of this prison. All right, so let's see Richard's third shitty reason. Here's a butt. I don't know why. This is a dude's butt. It's at the bottom here. This is where Richard's article came out of, actually. It just got shit out of here. This article sucks. I'm sorry. I don't know anything about this writer, but this article is freaking terrible. Where's the third reason? I can't read this whole thing because I haven't even had breakfast yet. Oh, okay, here we go. This ties in with the third and final problem I see with the stolen election rhetoric. It focuses attention on the wrong question, whether there was enough suppression to change election outcomes. As I've long argued, the right question is why the state gets to put stumbling blocks in front of voters. How do you not see the connection between those two? What are you talking about? The question isn't why do they suppress votes. The question is why are they able to? Well, gee, maybe if we call out the fact that we're doing it, we can start making them not be able to do it. What are you talking about, Richard? Richard, what made you think publishing this was a good idea? This guy's a professor. Richard, this guy is a professor. Does he... Wow, Richard, how much is your department stifling you in order for you to get tenure? Did you have a deadline that you had to make that you thought, how are you a professor? The fact that people like you are professors is why people like me, A, leave academia, and B, don't have much confidence in it. You are light years away from Noam Chomsky or Todd Gitlin or Janet Lyon or any other radical academic worth of salt. You make milquetoast seem edgy, Richard Hasen. Wow. That's the dumbest stuff. The question shouldn't be why are they suppressing the vote. The question is why are they able to suppress? What are you talking about? How many mimosas does one have to drink for that to make any sense, Richard? Richard, please just stop. Please, just what are you doing? You're teaching this to children, by the way. To students. I shouldn't say children. Students. What a shitty article. Richard Hasen. Wow. This guy's a professor. And he writes this article. We got to tone down the rhetoric of voter suppression. What are these three? Here, wait. What are these three shitty reasons? I actually forgot the first two because they're so dumb. It's a growing... Oh, yeah, you're mistrusting the cheaters. We have to stop it because you're mistrusting the cheaters. We should just blindly trust cheaters. Second, it's not proven. We don't know if they could have won or not without cheating, but they had cheating and they won. So we just shouldn't ask questions. Oh, and the third problem is, let's not ask why they do this. Let's ask why they're able to. Richard, wow, that's... Are the Koch brothers in charge of whether or not you get tenure, Richard? Just tell us. Is that who's writing the checks at your institution? And that's who determines whether or not you get tenure? That's why you're writing this substanceless, spineless garbage? Wow. You do not need to be a law professor to see that this is garbage. You really don't. Shame on you, Richard. Because I know that you know better. You know better. And you're still writing this garbage. And you're welcome to come on my show and defend this article anytime. You know where I stand right away. It's garbage. So, yeah, Adam, thank you for sharing that. And you were right. This article is, in fact, grossly wrong.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your